He was their son, and he destroyed them both. A true nightmare's original. They say the most dangerous predators don't break through windows in the dead of night. They don't hide in shadows or wear masks. Number. They sleep in the room down the hall. They know which floorboards creak. They've memorized your routines, your vulnerabilities, your blind spots. They call you mom. They call you dad. And on one blood-soaked December morning, inside one of the most fortified, exclusive neighborhoods in Los Angeles, a family discovered this horror too late. Far too late. The Fortress. The house rose behind towering iron gates at the end of a private cul-de-sac. 20-foot hedges formed living walls. Motion sensors lined every pathway. Security cameras blinked red from every angle. From the street, it looked impenetrable. A sanctuary. Inside those walls, the massacre had already begun. The King and Queen. Ethan Reynolds wasn't just successful. He was untouchable. 3 decades of filmmaking, Oscars on his mantle, scripts that changed the industry. His handshake could launch careers. His disapproval could end them. Power like that doesn't come without enemies. But none more dangerous than the one sleeping under his own roof. His wife, Claire Reynolds, was his opposite in every beautiful way. Where Ethan commanded rooms, Claire brought peace to them. Where he thrived in chaos, she created order. Together, they were Hollywood royalty. But every kingdom has a traitor. The prince who became a monster. Lucas Reynolds, 32 years old. Brilliant when he chose to be. Charming when it served him. Violent when the mask slipped. For years, his parents tried to save him from himself. Luxury rehab centers, private psychiatric care, experimental therapies, lawyers who made problems disappear. Money bought second chances, then third chances, then chances without numbers. But behind the mansion's walls, the screaming matches never ended. The shattered glass, the holes punched through drywall, the threats that came in whispers at 3 in the morning. You'll regret this. You don't know what I'm capable of. One day, you'll push me too far. The cracks no one wanted to see. Friends later admitted, quietly, carefully, that Lucas had been unraveling for months. Paranoid delusions, manic episodes that lasted for days, then crashes so severe he wouldn't leave his room for weeks. He'd show up at family gatherings hollow-eyed and twitching. Or he'd arrive manic and grandiose, talking about conspiracy theories, hidden messages, people who were out to get him. And through it all, Ethan and Claire held on. Because that's what parents do. Because he's our son. Because we still remember who he used to be. But some doors, once opened, can never be closed again. The night everything shattered. December 23rd, the annual Reynolds Christmas party. Champagne flowed. Candles flickered across marble countertops. Hollywood's elite mingled beneath crystal chandeliers. Everything sparkled. Everything smiled. But witnesses would later recall, with trembling voices and haunted eyes, the moment the mask slipped. Near midnight, Lucas cornered his father in the study. No one heard the full conversation, but they heard the tone, cold, controlled, murderous. One guest described it as the kind of voice you hear right before something terrible happens. Ethan stood his ground. Lucas's jaw clenched, his hands curled into fists. Then, nothing. Lucas turned, walked out the front door, vanished into the December cold. No one stopped him. No one realized they just witnessed the final warning. The morning the nightmare became real. 20 hours later, their daughter Emily arrived at the estate. She'd been texting her parents all morning. No response. Unusual, but not alarming. Until she reached the front door, it was unlocked, ajar, swinging gently in the breeze. Emily stepped inside. "Mom? Dad?" Silence. The kind of silence that has weight, that presses against your chest. She moved deeper into the house, past the living room where laughter had echoed just hours before, past the kitchen where her mother made coffee every morning without fail. Then she saw it. The horror. Blood, not drops, not splatters. Rivers of it, smeared across white marble, pooled on hardwood floors, handprints on walls where someone had tried to crawl, tried to escape, tried to survive. Emily's screams shattered the morning stillness. She found them in the master bedroom. Ethan, Claire, mutilated beyond recognition. Multiple stab wounds, dozens, delivered with such savage force that the blade had chipped bone. This wasn't self-defense. This wasn't robbery. This was rage. This was annihilation. The net closes. Detectives swarmed the property within minutes. No forced entry, no stolen items, no signs of a struggle with an outsider. The security system showed no unknown vehicles, no masked intruders scaling walls, just one name that kept surfacing. Lucas, the son who'd stormed out the night before. The son who'd been spiraling. The son who'd made threats. The son who knew every lock, every code, every camera blind spot. The monster in custody. Lucas Reynolds was found 12 hours after the bodies, sitting in his car 3 miles from the mansion, covered in blood that wasn't his. Scratches on his arms, defensive wounds on his hands. When police approached, he didn't run. He stared through them, eyes empty, face blank. "They didn't understand," he whispered. "They never understood." At the station, his story changed every hour. First, he claimed he wasn't there. Then he admitted being there but blamed an intruder. Then he said his father attacked him first. Then he went silent. But the evidence didn't lie. His fingerprints, his DNA, his footprints in his parents' blood. By dawn, Lucas Reynolds was charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder. Premeditated, calculated, personal. The aftermath that never ends. The mansion stands empty now. Gates locked, windows dark. A monument to the family that was. Hollywood mourned publicly, carefully. Because how do you grieve people killed by their own son? How do you speak at that funeral? What do you say? Lucas waits now behind bars, awaiting trial, awaiting judgment, awaiting the rest of his life to unfold in a 6x8 cell. No more chandeliers, no more second chances. Just concrete, steel, and the ghosts of the 2 people who loved him until their final, gasping breath. Final words. Because here's the truth we're all terrified to admit. The scariest monster isn't the one lurking in your closet. It's not the shadow outside your window. It's not the stranger following you home. Number, the most dangerous monster, is the one who knows you said, "I love you," this morning. The one you die to protect. The one who knows exactly how to destroy you. Because you gave them the keys, you let down your guard. You loved them. And sometimes, that love is the most dangerous thing of all.